What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Red River Horror Podcast. I am your host, Joe Zakreski. I am joined this week by RedRiverHorror.com founder, Eddie Cayazzo. Hi, Ed. How are you today?
Good evening, Joe.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome. It's episode number 50.
It's a milestone.
It sure is. We're getting there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think this time last year we just locked in the domain and all that.
Yes.
All that good stuff. Well, I guess the
Whatever
domain
the
was
hell
right.
it's-
You know what I mean.
The podcast platform.
Yeah,
the supplier.
the artwork and the approvals and
Yes.
all that
The base.
office stuff. You know,
So happy 50, and thanks for carrying the torch for big 50 episodes every single week, man.
Yeah, right.
Every week.
every week, whether they're early or late or whenever they come, but they're every week.
They are.
Yeah, and eventually will be. You know, I don't know. I don't see them going away anytime soon. So I'm having a good time.
No, we're just getting started. We have a big guest for our, actually coming up next week. So
Very exciting guest,
Woohoo.
and this will be our first year doing it, where like all the haunted attractions will be wide open and
yes.
plenty of opportunity to check some stuff out.
So I have to ask, man.
Yeah.
What else is turning 50?
Yeah, so there's the theme of today's episode is horror movies that are turning 50 years old, and we'll guess, you know, have we seen it, have we not seen it, have we even heard of it? It'll be fun. I got a whole big old list here. We're going to go all the way down it, and then but before we get into that, remember that you can go on to KeystoneRetro.com, use code Red River for 10% off your purchase.
Red River.
That's code Red River.
Not Red Rum.
No, not Red Rum.
Now.
Red River. You know, you
Keystone
find that
Retro.
at KeystoneRetro.com.
.com.
Well, here we go. So let's. This is quite the list, and the thing is, so 50 years ago, that's going to be 1971.
Oh.
Right.
So, man, people born in the 70s are turning 50 this year?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's a shame. Okay. That's a good year, though.
I mean, we're turning 40 this decade, so you want to
terrible.
put it in that kind of nightmare scenario.
I don't like it.
Yeah, so 1971. It's an interesting year in the horror genre.
Yes.
Because you're still, you know, like, I don't even think, has Rosemary's Baby even come out by now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's like one of the older, that's one of the, like, the older classics. There's like this middle, let's see, yeah, so that's 68. So it's like, you still have Price, Hitchcock. We haven't really reached The Exorcist yet.
Nope.
We haven't hit Halloween yet,
No.
which really changed the entire genre into like full-on slashers. So we're about to go down a list, and I'm going to guess there might not be much that we've seen. I look at the top one, and I'm like, this is the only one I know and the only one I've ever seen.
Okay. All right. So is the idea for this episode you're going to try and hit me with some info about it and see if I can guess it or see if we even remember?
Just to see, we'll just start with even guessing if we've even heard of any of these.
Okay.
'Cause
I'm good with that.
I'm just going down. I'm like, I know the top one,
Which is?
and the very first one is, and I never pronounce it correct either. So it's the abominable Dr. Phoebes.
I've actually never seen that.
Okay,
You have trouble with Abominable?
that's actually not the one. It's always I can't remember if it's Phoebes or Phoebe. It's been a very long time since I've seen this, and I saw it just because Vincent Price is in it.
Oh,
I was trying to see like everything Vincent Price has done, because like, you know, if I go down the list, if I think about, you know, whether I think, you know, Price might be my guy over a Hitchcock.
Okay. It's a good choice.
But, you know, different, you know, but I mean, I like all their stuff equally. I don't know.
Different strokes for different folks, but both Price and Hitchcock are freaking awesome.
Yeah. So film follows the character Anton Phoebes, and it's also the intro to the comeback album for the Misfits.
Oh, okay.
When they came back with new singer Michael Graves in '97, this was their intro track. It's called "The Abominable." Dr. Phoebes.
It's a little connection there.
Well, I mean, that was kind of one part of their shtick.
Got it. All right, what's next?
All right, so what is this? He attends his wife's surgery. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Phoebes is inspired. He's on a murder spree, inspired by the 10 plagues of Egypt from the Old Testament. So that's a good way to go about killing people.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I don't know. I can't do a very good Vincent Price.
I mean, to be fair, you haven't tried before, have you?
No. Bill Hader does the best one, and it's incredible.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever heard Bill Hader's Vincent Price. But
No, I'll have to check it out.
It's very good. All right, let's try this one. So that's one. This next one is an Italian film, A Bay of Blood. Never heard of it.
Nope.
Let's go to the next one, Beast of the Yellow Night.
Okay. Nope.
Never heard of it.
Nope.
The Black Belly of the Tarantula.
Nope.
Nope. Keep going. Black Noon.
No.
The hell is Black Noon about? Ugh. Who the hell's in this thing? Let's just see the cast.
Black Noon.
I don't know any of these names, but good for them. They made it into that movie. Blood and Lace.
I feel like I've heard of it. I can't say that I'm familiar with it though.
I don't know. It seems like a weird porn. Yeah, Blood from the Mummy's Tomb.
Okay.
No. Blood of Ghastly Horror. No.
No.
The Blood on Satan's Claw. Great name.
That is a really good name. I think if I have an album, I'm going to name it The Blood on Satan's Claw.
And as
Nice.
soon as I hit a bigger name of note, I will let you know. But so far, it's like, again, it's a big list.
Yeah, right.
So I'm just like, let's see if we've even heard of something.
Well, how about this? Why don't you get to something that you think we've heard of?
Oh, gosh.
Nothing yet?
Oh. No.
It's more amazing to me to think that there are that many horror movies from 1971.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them is like, I don't know. Here's actually an interesting one that maybe we should check out.
Okay.
So this is did you ever heard of a movie, 1971, an action thriller, horror, whatever? I mean, I guess it's coming out as thriller more so, but it's called Duel, or Duel.
No.
D-U-E-L. Now, let's play a little game with it, shall we? Because
Sure.
I did not know this at all, because I know the man's name. I know a ton of his work.
Okay.
And this is actually his directorial debut. Okay.
Yep.
Now, let's see. What else? How do we want to play this? We'll say, so when you want to guess this director's directorial debut, 1971, with this movie, Duel. Okay. Let's see. So one of his movies that he's very famous for features an alien.
Okay.
Okay. He likes
E.T. Steven Spielberg.
It is Steven Spielberg.
Okay, so his first movie, I guess.
Yeah.
Our first film was Duel.
Yeah.
Came out in 71.
Before Jaws.
Wow, so he's been directing for 50 years. That's pretty
Yeah,
remarkable.
so 50 years of directing for Spielberg.
Go, Steven.
Let's dive into Spielberg a little bit. And I think there's one thing that we all agree on with Steven Spielberg is, the fuck is he doing sometimes? When like they do, like him and Lucas, when they started doing those remasters,
Yeah.
that wasn't cool.
No.
I didn't like that.
Well, I mean, it's just stupid. Everything has to be something. I wish I could explain that more, but we're here at the Red River Horror Podcast. It's just stupid. It's unnecessary. And Lucas especially. I mean, he really pissed Star Wars fans off with his alterations of
He overdid it.
Yeah.
He overdid it.
CGI and like Phantom Menace level CGI added to the original trilogy. I can't imagine. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I like Star Wars. I can't imagine people being happy about that.
Nah.
So what was it? E.T. with the guns. They changed the cops' guns to radios as he was flying away, right?
Yeah.
And then there was what else did he do?
I can't remember, but it was just like unnecessary. You didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
Whatever. But let's for 50 years of directing movies, let's he's still made ones that we like.
Here for Steven Spielberg.
So he's directed 33 feature films in those 50 years, that's pretty regular workload.
Yeah.
When you think about all the work that goes into it. And his first movie was a short film called Amblin, which I guess is where you get that Amblin Entertainment from.
Yeah.
How about that?
With Elliot and the E.T. flying away.
How about that?
On the bike.
I think I knew that, though. But
Okay.
So he had another one before Jaws that was called The Sugarland Express. But, of course, we know Jaws because that was the one I wanted to talk about. And it's like everybody talks about Jaws.
Yeah.
But
It's a big shark.
you
Eats
know.
people. People get scared.
Yeah, but then he's got his cool one when we get into like some aliens, which is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Have you ever
Yes,
watched that one?
I have.
That's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
That's very good. Then this comedy, if you remember, 1941.
No.
Well, we've actually met one of the writers of 1941.
Did we really?
Yeah, it was written by Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale.
Gale. Yes, we did. We interviewed him.
Yes, we did. And directed by, Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
Starring Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi.
I always felt that I did it. No, never mind. Go ahead.
But yeah, then you got Raiders of the Lost Ark, E.T. E.T. actually used to scare me when I was a kid.
My wife as well, Melissa, also.
Yeah.
It never scared me. I used to actually just get upset when
he leaves?
Yeah,
So
that used
sad.
to make me sad.
Yeah, the beginning always scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
When he's like just grabbing at the stuff, or like, I don't know. It's that first scream though when they encounter
Yeah, oh my gosh.
that one always gets me. So he then took a long, there's nothing creepy after Jaws other than, Close Encounters I guess could give you some shivers. E.T. gave me some shivers. The color purple. I remember Color Purple.
Real life.
Yeah. Empire of the Sun. There you go.
So anyway, happy 50th year directing feature films to Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, he's got some some real great ones in there. One of the ones that we're just going to give one last bit of credit to, that, again, one that I think scared a lot of people when we were kids, but I think you were the opposite, which was Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Everybody was terrified.
Yeah, I actually thought it was funny when I always say this, but the listeners don't know this.
Mm-hmm.
When I think it's the kid that gets blown off the fence.
Yeah, when he gets from the shock. Yeah, that part's hilarious.
Yeah,
That'll always be hilarious.
okay, good. So I'm not an evil person.
No,
right,
that part's funny.
Yes.
And then his most recent one's coming out in December, which is another West Side Story movie. So I guess he wants to take a crack at it.
Nice.
Yeah, whatever. Good for you,
He
Steve.
can do whatever the hell he wants.
I mean, he can and he does.
Yeah.
At this point, like after that, like he's done. I guess stuff that he just likes as books or plays now. That he's just like, I'm going to make this into a movie.
Right.
Like, I guess that's Jurassic Park, because the movie came out pretty quick after the book, I believe.
Yeah.
He did BFG, which is a classic children's book. He did Ready Player One.
Yes, which does actually, for horror fans, if you've never seen Ready Player One, there is a cool ode to The Shining.
Yes.
In that film.
Yes, there is.
I thought that was pretty done pretty well.
Movie's not bad at all.
No.
It's quite a lot of fun.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. You can knock on Ed Wood. Ed Wood's got a movie in 1971. Necromania, A Tale of Weird Love, is a pornographic film by Ed Wood.
Oh, all right, cool.
Released in 1971. It was produced, written, directed entirely by Ed Wood. I mean, that was kind of his thing.
You and I probably shouldn't watch that alone for so many reasons.
Can I just read some of this plot here?
Sure. And that turns 50? Salud.
50.
Salud.
Oh, man. Running time, 51 minutes for the R-rated version, 54 minutes for the X-rated version.
Oh.
So just this opening. Before the credits, the film opens to an image seen through a prism. It depicts a group of naked, writhing bodies in the process of group sex. Like, there's a hyperlink for group sex.
No,
you
we
can
don't.
click on that and learn more about group sex if you'd like to.
If you want to. We'll link it in the notes.
Well, Jesus Christ. Budget is $7,000. Congrats, Ed Wood.
Moving on.
Moving on. Let's see. I'm just gonna The Night Digger. Nope. The Night Evelyn Came Out of the Grave. A great name for a movie. The Night God Screamed.
Whoa. Well, that's another. All right, let's keep these for some album names, so because I'm sure some of them are out of print and not copyrighted.
Hey, death is the only way out. Scream so they'll know where to find your body. Actually, take a look at this poster. The poster's really good. Take a look at that.
That is pretty good.
That's a good looking poster.
I'll bet you Rob Zombie's like grifted off of that.
I'm sure he is. He's got something else in the works. I can't remember. I'm drawing a blank. Why am I drawing a blank? I can't think of it.
Speaking of 50 plus, he's and I love Rob Zombie, at least music wise.
Yeah.
He's surprisingly old. He doesn't look it at all.
I mean, he's been around for a long time.
Yeah. Dude, he's 56.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie is 56 years old. So when I got into him, I mean, I'll be honest, I do like White Zombie a lot, but I got into White Zombie more so after Hellbilly Deluxe.
Because, like, that album came out when we were, like, 11.
Wow.
You know, he's been around for a long time.
Long freaking time.
So it's like, you know, we didn't know we weren't tracking bands until, like, you know, Dragula was so huge.
Yeah, well,
like,
yeah.
Especially, like, amongst our age. It was like, yeah.
Because it made it, once it hit MTV for me, it was over.
Yeah.
I'm going to go buy the album.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, I mean, he was probably like 30-something then.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we actually saw him. So
we did.
Here's to Rob Zombie,
Here's
who's
to Rob
56.
Zombie. He's 56, not quite 50, but man, this list is weak. 1971 is a rough year, other than that one Vincent Price. But again, there is just an odd spacing for like a horror revival, and it seems to happen a lot. Like just as time goes, I think that's the same for a lot of things. Like, what's like now? Like all I can think about is like what's another like genre lull where it's just like there's nothing really memorable. Like in horror, so it's like after this, it's like, you know, then you get your stuff that scares you all the time, which is, I guess you could say, you know, your Exorcist, your Jaws is.
Hills 73, 75. Hills Have Eyes was what, 70? Yeah, it was actually pretty early in the 70s.
Yeah, you get your Hills Have Eyes, Last Houses on the Lefts.
Yep.
So it seems, you know, the genre takes a turn from mysterious and creepy to bloody disgusting, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I remember early on, before Blumhouse was just making money off of every single, like, they have all the modern franchises mostly, except for the Warner Brothers stuff. But Blumhouse is just killing it. But before that, I remember one thing that they stressed was, you know, they used to have a site that was similar to Red River Horror, obviously a little deeper, with like creepypastas and you know, trailers for different films, but it was the home for all things scary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a turn. I think the idea was it was a turn from what Saw had become, the hostels, the torture porn of the like 2000 to 2009, just that really vicious. I don't know what else to call it.
I mean, we could just call it like, you know, just gore porn. I don't know.
Right.
But like that's dead now. I mean, that's not really there's something that's gone away.
It is, but I think that was the direct result of Blumhouse, because if you notice all of the Blumhouse films that exist, the PG-13 and the rated R ones, it's not that they're not graphic, they're just not that. They're not Saw 3
Yeah.
and up and the Hostels. I'm trying to think of more. I know there's more. I just can't think of them. And then there was a period of a lot of possession movies that I remember it pissed you off a lot just because it was being overdone.
Yeah, it seems to be like that thing where a certain type of being like, oh, well, we got to redo this. So like we mentioned, The Hills Have Eyes.
Yes,
but it's like before that came out in 1972. That's also had a remake.
Yes,
was Last House on the Left.
Yeah,
and that one, these movies like, and then I think I Spit on Your Grave's also like 78 or something like that. There's a lot of rape in the 70s.
Which is pretty.
A lot of rape fear, because I don't think you could do that for a mainstream movie in the 60s so much.
Probably not.
I'm trying to think of anything where it's like that's the case, and all I can think of is like 70s. You got Deliverance,
Right?
Deliverance, Last House on the Left, Spit on Your Grave's more of like a drive-in classic, right? I mean that definitely wasn't like a big.
Oh, it wasn't like blockbuster horror. Like
No.
like The Exorcist is an Academy Award-winning film.
Yeah.
Halloween was the most successful independent independent film.
Yeah.
For the longest time. So no, those like I Spit on Your Grave is not the caliber of those films.
No, but like Deliverance is on a
Yeah.
A movie that gets a lot of recognition with They Have Rape, Last House has rape, Hills Have Eyes has rape, and I Spit on Your Grave is entirely rape.
Pretty bad.
To a disturbing point. I never saw the remake of that. Did you ever get to that?
I did. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, but
Yeah.
the first one's still just so effective.
It's the same formula, though.
Yes.
Yeah, that's too hard to watch.
It's not as see. There's something raw and evil about the original Last House on the Left, and
Yeah,
and it doesn't quite capture that feeling. The remake. It's a good film.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. There's something about that. Last House on the Left had it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre had it. There's something gritty, like gritty and real, that people try and go for. That's not really of this era. I think Rob Zombie even tries to go for that sometimes, and it just doesn't work as well as Last House on the Left and Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, I mean, there's another one when we talk about the 70s, like a big turnaround. So a lot of these like classic movies are turning 50 over this decade. Texas Chainsaw, one of them, that's 74.
Yep, 1974.
Halloween's going to be there.
70. Oh, that's too far away. We're fine.
Well, they do something every, they did 20 years, 40 years. Is it going to get a 50?
I'm sure it will. So who is it? Danny McBride and what's the other guy? David Gordon Green?
Yeah. Is that one the next one? I don't know.
So they did this. So Rob Zombie did the reboot, remaster, whatever.
His little spin on it.
Yep. Danny McBride and David Gordon Green did their, like, hey, we're going to ignore they did the H2O thing and said, only the first one counts. So whatever the hell's next.
It was the right move, but they're, based on that trailer, they're throwing in hints of,
Well, they're paying homage.
yeah, they're, throwing stuff in there. I was trying to think. I thought Cannibal Holocaust was. No, that was 80. I mean, yeah. So it really is. This is like this in-between time we found.
Yeah.
That I was like, let's go in and take a look. And then it's really going that 50s and 60s horror, whereas like the 60s is where it starts to push the envelope a little more. Mm-hmm. And then, by the 70s, you just get a lot more gore, a lot more devastation. The art of like a Psycho is no longer there.
Right.
It's really interesting. And then through the 70s, 80s, it gets like hokey with like your Freddys and your Jasons. It
gets over the top. Melissa actually just said something to me. We were watching some 80s music videos. Don't ask me why.
Why not?
We were watching some of them, and she saw an interview. She's a big fan of Gracie Slick from Jefferson Airplane.
Yeah.
And obviously that carries over to Jefferson Starship.
Yes.
And she saw an interview, and I don't know if Gracie Slick said this or if the interviewer or one of those VH1 shows. I can't remember. Either way, they said pretty much that you're putting a marijuana band in a cocaine decade. Talking about like the 60s and the 80s. So it's so if you I don't know where I was fully going with that, but it makes sense. It's like I hear that and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, if you're wondering how we got here, Joe and I, for episode number 50 of the Red River Horror Podcast, Joe just tried to look up 50s movies that are celebrating their 50th birthday this year.
I thought there was going to be like a secret one, but though that Spielberg one, Spielberg's directorial debut in there, yeah,
that's a big one. All right, well, why don't we cut it in half?
Yeah, well, we'll just move on from there because that's like, hey,
we tried,
we tried, and they can't all be winners. Obviously, it's like this episode's going to come out later than we typically do it, but yeah, you know what? We're just having a good time. Speaking of good times, did you get to see the Forever Purge yet?
I didn't, and listeners have to go to redriverhard.com to find out why.
Yeah, we need that, and then
it seems as if everything we talked about, the things that we don't like about the Purge, it seems like they're still there. And everything's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to catch that on the red box.
Yeah. That is the way things seem. So we'll just have to deal with it one step at a time. No reason to rush to see the Purge.
Well, since we're I guess we're just riffing now.
At this point, I mean,
local news.
Yeah.
Local news. I think Viva Video.
Viva Video, R.I.P.
What the
I shared
hell?
it, yeah.
I've been completely off of... Did you share it on Facebook or Twitter, both?
Probably just Facebook.
Twitter, I might have seen it. Facebook, I've been trying to just stay away.
Good.
It's a dumpster.
It sure is. So,
like our Red River Horror Facebook page.
That's a good one. So no, I mean, and the reason why they're closing, it's not because they were able to keep it together through the pandemic. It's the landlords not keeping their lease.
No.
Yeah, which is like just the absolute worst way to go. And I've known a few places where like that's the case, where it's like, yeah, the building is moving us.
And I wanted to do a story on redriverhard.com about this. Maybe I will now. That was not the case with Family Video, that chain that still existed when we went out to that the film festival in Enid, Oklahoma. Sorry, Enid friends.
Yeah.
So when we went to the Fly Film Festival, the year you went, when our film was featured. Family Video. Of course, that was a must stop for me. That was a chain. That was a Midwest chain.
Yeah.
And their hook was why they didn't go out of business, whereas, obviously here West Coast Video went out, Blockbuster, Hollywood, all the chains are gone. The reason they were alive is because they owned the real estate that they were in. So, like, they put up a Family Video and a Marco's Pizza attached to it, and that's how they were viable. So I don't know. I have to look into why they ultimately went away, but 2020 was the end of Family Video.
Yeah.
So now 2021, the end of Viva Video.
It's the end.
So whereas Family Video owned their space, Viva Video did not, and that sucks.
Yeah, that's brutal. I mean, it's a crappy way to go.
Yeah. Miguel, we love you, man.
Yeah, real shame. Great things that they've done. What happened? They had like a reality show for like a hot minute, didn't they? Where it ever make it to air?
They had a lot of content coming out of there. They had, if there was a reality show, I wasn't aware of it. I know they were featured in a documentary. I think exclusively. I think they were.
Maybe it was just the
subject of the documentary.
Yeah.
Which our good friend Greg always wanted to do, and now he's not going to get the chance to.
Poor guy.
Because Viva Video literally was the Last Picture Store. And shoot, in Philadelphia, in the Philadelphia area,
Yeah, that's it.
It really was.
That's it. They're all gone now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going to rent. My wife got me that 4K UHD player. And I don't know where I'm going to rent 4K UHD films now.
Does Netflix still mail?
Yeah, just
No.
DVDs. Yeah. Oh, well. But, hey.
Yeah.
So, sad local news.
Yeah, all
Viva
right.
Video.
R.I.P. But, yeah, I've really got nothing on the rest of that. That's just such a sad. It's just such a bummer.
It is.
And you know what's funny when you talk about renting videos is just walking through the store and just the boxes you would see, and that's why a lot of like 80s and 90s horror is just burned into my brain, because just like walking by, there was like just some creepy boxes.
Absolutely.
And Hellraiser was always one of them.
Yes.
Like Pinhead always gave me the creeps. And then when I finally got around to seeing the movie, very disappointed that he's really not like he's there, but you don't know about all of his pals that are doing all the dirty work.
Have you seen Hellraiser recently?
It's been a while.
The first time I saw Hellraiser, I was disappointed. Now, same with, this happens with me a lot. Same with like old school. Remember the comedy?
Yeah.
I hated it the first time I saw it.
Yes, you did.
But if you watch Hellraiser again, I guarantee you will enjoy it.
Okay.
I mean, yes, he is not. We saw that boogeyman.
Oh yeah, I mean, even the clip used in Boogeyman, I mean, that scene's badass.
Yeah.
Jesus wept.
But Frank is creepy. Like Hellraiser, when we went back, me and Melissa watch it every single Halloween season because it's that good. And the first time I saw it, I hated it.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to say like I hated it. I just thought there'd be more Pinhead, and I thought it was like just Pinhead. It's not.
Right.
What's another like box that always like stuck at? There was one that I always thought was really stupid, and then ended up watching it, and I'm like, I kind of like this, which is Pumpkinhead.
Oh yeah.
I like
Yes.
Pumpkinhead a lot.
Pumpkinhead was one of them, and I think we actually watched Pumpkinhead for the first time. Usually we talk about the basement back on Scotia Road.
Yeah.
We watched that at your apartment
Wow.
on, oh my gosh, Woodmere.
Yeah.
Wow.
The old apartment.
That was the first time we'd seen Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
So we were late bloomers for Pumpkinhead, but yes, that was a scary...
It's good.
That was a good movie.
It is good. You can talk about those random ones that you just give a shot at, you see it at the video store all the time, and eventually you just cave
It worked.
and go for it, and it worked. I mean, hey, that's what's going to stink. I mean, when I was like looking for a while, like when looking for places to live, Ardmore's always been on my list.
Okay. Which is where Viva Video is housed.
Right. And it's like, if I had lived there, I would have gone there more often. But it's like whenever somewhere closes that you think is really cool, don't you just feel like kind of like a piece of shit you didn't go there more often?
Oh, always.
Even though there was nothing you could really do about that?
Yeah.
It's like, what was I going to do? Just walk in and not get anything?
Except when I was a kid, though. When I was a kid, I didn't
Yeah.
have a sense of it because they just took the rug out from under you. I'll give you an example.
Latte da.
Latte da.
That's what you go for?
Yes.
That was your favorite place.
We were, I mean, shoot.
I loved it too, but
But that was such a great spot. And the thing is, similar to Viva Video, where they just said, we're not going to re-up the lease. With what happened with Lottie Da was even more sinister. This was a great coffee shop.
yeah.
The realty company said, okay, you need to change your sign. So they had to spend like thousands of dollars changing their sign. I don't know why a sign costs thousands of dollars, but that's what they were forced to do by the realtor. Then they had to stop selling pastries because at that time Acme was going to get a Starbucks within Acme.
Which never happened.
It never freaking happened.
It happened to the other one,
Yeah.
not this one.
No. So that Acme was supposed to get a Starbucks that was going to sell pastries. So now they were telling the coffee shop, la-di-da.
Yeah. No compete.
Yeah.
That's
It's like, you can't sell your pastries anymore. It's like, how do you...
That's why at the bottle shop we could only sell like hot dogs.
That's right. Right.
Like we could, like no burgers, no wraps, no sandwiches, no. It's like, all right.
But we have to serve food.
Yeah.
Dude, Pennsylvania is communist.
Well, liquor wise.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just thinking the beer. Yeah, Lottie Da was. they were just told by the realtor. No.
Yeah. Well, that whole those real estate realty companies that own shopping centers, they push out mom and pop shops because you can get in big box names and they'll pay whatever higher price just because they don't have to give a shit about it.
No.
It's not the end of the world to them. But if it gets to the end of the world, they'll just go somewhere else.
Right.
And somewhere else would be glad to have them. So they got more negotiating power and more. Like if you look at Andorra now, I mean, is there any like the modern vac and sew is somehow invincible?
It is somehow invincible.
Like if you're not from here and you're hearing what, like you're just like, what the hell is he talking about? It's a store called the Modern Vac and Sew where they repair and sell vacuum cleaners and sewing machines, and has been in business since before we were born.
But have you ever utilized their services?
I have not. My mom has.
They are a fantastic business when you need it. If you need to rent a steamer, like when I moved into this house.
Oh, they rent steamers there too?
They do.
Yeah, there you go.
And they repaired my first vacuum. So when I moved into this house, there was a lot of work that needed to be done.
Yeah.
I had to really deep clean everything. When my Shark broke, they repaired it, and it wasn't that much.
And it's the same. I mean, and those folks, they've been there for forever.
But how do they survive?
They're untouchable. Our optometrist has moved twice.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're still there.
Modern Back and Sew.
Modern Back and Sew.
In Andorra Shopping Center.
There's got to be something behind it. Like maybe they got some kind of like poltergeists or something that keep it on lock.
Maybe. Or they sell drugs.
That's what everybody comes up with. They're like, they sell drugs. But it was the pizza shop across the way that was selling the drugs.
It was.
You guys look Reggie Bush. You want to buy Jersey?
I saw him.
I don't know if I'd even recognize him anymore. He's got to be like gray now. Like
not as much as you would think.
No, still with a goatee.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, but but the pizza shop was fun just because we don't have any like pizza joints.
Yeah, no.
I love, believe me, I love Pina's Pizza. I want to say it that way because if you're listening in California, you'll be like, what? You won't know what I'm talking about. There's a place, PINA''S, so it's Pina's, not penis.
Penis Pizza.
Great pizza joint, great pizza shop, but the thing is, I have to drive there.
That's true.
With the old shop that was in the Andorra Shopping Center, I could walk.
Yeah.
That was the difference. And believe me, Penis is one of my favorites.
I mean, I've walked there a couple times, but it's a really dangerous walk.
Yes.
Because once you get to the bottom of like the street I grew up on, and it's like there's no sidewalk, and it's a big hill, and people are flying up and down blind.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not the safest.
No. So that's what, when I talk about pizza joint, like where we could just hang out and eat pizza and talk.
We could like walk right there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, nothing to brag about, but it was fine.
It was fine. Exactly.
When we were working third shift at Kohl's, and they started doing breakfast. I mean, that was great.
It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, your dad was down for it. He'd be like, "You boys want breakfast?" It was awesome.
It was. I mean, it was a great pizza joint, but yeah, unfortunately, they started selling drugs, and that's why they're not there.
Yeah. So
the Modern Vac and Sew.
If you ever open a pizza shop, don't sell drugs. Be like the old people who own the Modern Vac and Sew. Don't get caught.
And Parcel Plus is still there too, which is another great store.
Yeah, I mean, so that one, I mean, that's there because they have agreements with the USPS, UPS, FedEx, DHL. So
all
like,
of them.
if you get something like that, you're pretty much locked in for a while until like a UPS store is just like, we want space here.
And let me tell you, the people, I don't know if they listen to this podcast. This is pretty hyper local. So maybe they do. Who knows? But the people at Parcel Plus in the Andorra Shopping Center, I love them. They're awesome. The lady that always wears the band shirts.
Yeah.
I think the other lady's name is Betty. If you ever need to ship or receive or whatever, anything to do with that stuff, you go there.
You find Betty.
Yep.
Betty's got you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just because we're talking about the shopping center. I'm trying to think. Is like anything really creepy ever happened at the shopping center? Like not like like the kind of creepy I'm talking about. Not the kind of like not confrontation. We were getting nervous.
We got jumped.
Yeah.
Right.
Was Sean got his shoes stolen?
Sean had his money stolen.
His money stolen.
Chris Monzo had his shoes.
Yeah.
Well, that's my cousin, everybody, if you don't know. I'm
Yeah.
Eddie Cayazzo. You can find him. But yeah, he had his shoes stolen.
Yeah.
Sean had his money stolen.
Yeah.
I actually got away scot-free that night, but I paid the price that December. Not at the shopping center. Totally different. High school.
Oh, I mean, the shit.
So
that was all in the same
It was a
window.
bad
That's
year.
That is a rough year.
Yeah.
Jeez,
So October,
man.
October is when we had bad things happen. They say bad things happen. Well,
Yeah.
the Andor Shopping Center. October was bad for Sean and Chris. December was bad for Eddie.
Yeah, that's like the thing when the movie theater was still there and there was a lot more people wandering around.
Yeah.
There was more like confrontation, but I was trying to think if there was anything like creepy about the shopping center. There's always something creepy about like how I'd cut through the back of the movie theater and through the fence at IHM, especially if it was at night and like a fog was rolling in. It was always really, really creepy coming up through the church. And
honestly, back then,
yeah.
when it was a movie theater, that whole back behind the shopping center. So there's two places. There's really three entrances to the shopping center. There's coming off of Cathedral Road, coming off of Port Royal for the Hubbard local people, and there's one on the back. There's a second on Cathedral Road that's like behind everything.
Yeah.
That back there used to creep me out with the columns.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Encore Books and then the movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
But there was columns and then a bike rack.
Yep. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And
That had
through that.
the light would flicker and you'd be walking out of a horror movie out of the AMC Andorra.
It's pitch black with a flickering light.
Yeah.
You got to go through this little thing to get out to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, not a little thing, but it was just a slight turn where anything could happen.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, think of seeing a horror movie,
Mm-hmm.
walking out of there, and then having to go through that
Yeah.
to get to the top of that hill. So you're talking about the fence where IHM is. I'm saying if you actually just took the natural way walking out, that's still creepy at that time.
It's
There's two
very
dumpsters
creepy.
right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything could pop out.
Uh-huh.
Except everything that happened negative always happened during the day.
Yeah.
Scum. What are you going to do?
Hey.
That's a nice trip down memory lane. It's not, nothing's the same as it used to be.
No. And so we were talking, this is episode 50. We were talking about films 50 years ago. That would have been what? So that was, you know what? I went to La Di Da before I saw Halloween 20 years later. So that would have been in 1998.
How about that? Chocolate egg cream.
Chocolate egg cream.
I guess is egg cream implies that it's chocolate.
I think now, so yes, I think the original New York egg cream.
That's what it is. New York egg cream.
They can correct me, but I think it was chocolate, and now it's just like when you go somewhere that has egg creams, they're like, oh, try a cherry egg cream or whatever. It's like no, but yes, I believe chocolate egg cream is the John.
Yeah, and I mean it sounds like an awful combination, but it really works.
Oh yeah,
it's quite tasty.
Yep.
Whatever. This has been fun. I mean, we were trying to get nostalgic with 50-year movies, and there wasn't really anything there. We got nostalgic about video rentals and everything else. So I'd call that a lot of fun for an episode number 50, if I don't say so myself.
Yep, and just to cap that off about the Andorra Shopping Center, if we are taking it back.
Yeah.
So there was the movie theater, which we've talked about quite a bit on this podcast. There was the West Coast Video, which we talked about quite a bit, and the Coconuts, which initially was the Wall back then. But Coconuts had more movies. The Wall was music. You could listen to all the different...
Yeah, I mean, the Coconuts eventually got bought by FYE.
Yeah.
This is basically FYE. But hey, here's the thing. So anybody who's listening, tell us a story. Just send it to redriverhorror@gmail.com.
Yep.
You can text me or Eddie if you know us personally, or you can DM us on Twitter @redriverhorror, @RiverJoe, and then just tell us some kind of nostalgic story of at a video rental store. Yep. Or what it was like going for movies, even if it's not horror movies. Just let us know.
Yeah.
And then, or if you got one of those stories when we're talking about those scary walks. I know Steve had the one that I think we might have talked a little bit about when he was on, which was the place that's now filled in, but that's okay. Special guest Pumpkin.
Yeah, she hasn't been on in a while.
She hasn't been on in a while.
Welcome back.
It's been a while, but she's here.
Took her 40-some episodes to come back.
Yeah. Yeah, but please let us know, and I'm going to put that on blast because I'll just put that out every which way because I think that'd be fun to talk even more about because, you know, we have so many great memories of renting movies and just getting creeped out by doing almost nothing, pretty much nothing.
Pretty much.
It's a wonderful thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll sign off then. I'm Eddie Cayazzo, founder of Red River Horror. You can find me at Red River Horror on Twitter and Instagram. Populating more at the site at redriverhorror.com, of course.
Yeah, and then don't forget to check out that redriverhorror.com because there's some great reviews by Stacey Lane Wilson on there.
Yep.
And then, of course, you've got, you know, What's Coming by Nick Cush. And don't forget to go into KeystoneRetro.com, code Red River for 10% off your order. I am Joe Zakreski. This has been episode number 50 of the Red River Horror Podcast. And remember to keep traveling those channels of